feel pain. Separation is insane. Oh, have you bought into the lies? Black, white, whatever, never a reason to despise. Oh, we're all part of the human race, one humanity, a truth we must face. If we can't learn to love each other, then we can't learn to forgive one another. Time to move on to a new way of being. The only solution is a new way of seeing. Yeah. I must let you know that we matter. Tell these people all that we matter. Gotta face the truth somehow. We matter. Change what we do right now. We matter. See with the eyes of love, I see you with your heart. Let go of separation. We can all make a new start if we all come together. If we let go the norms, no matter what the border, and no matter where you're from, then how can we let our fellow men suffer in poverty? How can we let our children and sisters die from greed? How can we let our mothers and fathers go uncared for? And how can we let our children live in a world of war? No, no, no. I must let you know that we matter. I tell these people all that we matter. Gotta face the truth somehow. We matter. Change what we do right now. We matter. Time to erase a new way of being. One race, one world, one humanity. Let's learn to love ourselves, our creator, and every being. 'Cause we all matter in this one love for you and me. No, no, no. I must let you know that we matter. Tell these people all that we matter. Gotta face the truth somehow. We matter. Change what we do right now. We matter. I must let you know that we matter.
Good morning and welcome everyone here in person and all around the world, potentially on Facebook, YouTube. My name is Jo Lurquin, and I'm a member here of this wonderful community, the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. And we're so happy to be here today celebrating live and in person. We're in Eagleville, Pennsylvania today at the wonderful office facility, manufacturing facility of Interprod. And that's the business of Rick and Suzanne Smethers. So we thank you as always for welcoming us. And this is a very welcoming community. I hope that you find it so, whether you're here in person with us or checking in live stream. And I'm saying good morning, but of course it could be any time of the day when you choose to tune into us, because of course this talk, this service is available to you on our website, so you can tune in at any time that you'd like. Now, here at CSL, we teach and practice the principles of science of mind. And our mission here is awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Woohoo. And so the Centers for Spiritual Living always has a theme each year. So the 2023 theme is Building a New Consciousness. And our February 2023 theme is Motivation. So I hope you're all motivated today. And if not yet, you will be. So I promise you that. We truly believe in a world that works for everyone, all sentient beings here. And so we are grateful to see everyone here in person and again out there in Facebook and YouTube world. And probably you're starting to think, wait a minute, there's something missing here. And that would be our spiritual leader, Reverend Dr. Maxine Kay, and also Reverend Mike Gertis. Okay, so where are they today? Where in the world are Maxine and Mike? Well, there's a lot of rumors going around, and that maybe they're getting ready for their big Super Bowl party next Sunday, because we're all doing that, of course. We're so excited. And just so you know, I'm wearing red. It has nothing to do with Kansas City. It's all about Valentine's Day, okay? So let's go there. And because all of my green clothing is in the wash, it's all getting ready for that big moment next Sunday. Fly, Eagles, fly. Okay, so back to Max and Mike. And so they are not able to be here with us in person, but I know that they are tuning in from wherever they are. So we're letting them know we miss them in person. We'll see them in person right here, because this is an in-person celebration again next Sunday right here in Eagleville. So we'll be pleased to see them in person then. And we also know that wherever they are knowing and revealing their spiritual magnificence. And so we're grateful for that. So, Dr. Maxine, in turning this MC duty over to me, of course, decided that there needed to be a team ready to help out. And of course, there is a team, there always is. And one of the most important members of the team today is our guest speaker. So we're happy to welcome back Dr. Hazel Spears. Yay! And we'll be hearing from Dr. Spears a little later. I'll remind you of her wonderful biography, her talk title, all of that just a little later in the program. So for now, I want to have us speak our purpose statement. So if you know that, please speak it with me. And that would be living, loving, learning, spirituality that works. And so I believe next we're going to our opening song. all that I need comes to me. And that was performed by the GPCSL music team. So you can't do much better than that. So thank you again. Now, we're coming up on our time when we speak with the younger generation. That would be our We Wisdom Talk. So this is our kid talk. And today, presenting it will be the president of our GPCSL Board of Trustees, the one, the only, Edie Janik.
Thanks, Lady Joe. Oh, it's fun to be here. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How'd you sneak in without me seeing you? You. So, got some funky things going on today, but it's all good. Let's just be cool about it. And we are. The door won't shut. You know, there's some strange things happening, kind of like out of our control at the moment. So we're just going to go with the flow. All right, so We Wisdom. So this gave me an opportunity to learn a different perspective on the word motive. So I was really grateful that it was my job to take care of the We Wisdom talk today. So, hey kids out there, and all the kids in here, which I know we have quite a few kids in here too. So the February theme, as Lady Joe mentioned, is motivation. So doing this week's We Wisdom gave me the opportunity to get to a new appreciation and perspective on the word motive. So I kind of broke it down. And then I went into like this big rabbit hole about all the words that end in shun, and what that means. So then I brought myself back out of it. So motive is that which inwardly moves a person to behave in a certain way. And I'm used to hearing the word motive in the context of, like somebody did something wrong. Like what was their motive? I wonder what their motive was, right? So I've often heard the motive used like, what was the person's motive? And more commonly, the questions about something that they did or said that wasn't really all that good. You see all like the crime movies and stuff. They want to know what was the motive. And there's two other elements. Anyone know the other two elements to a crime that are necessary? Opportunity and means. I wonder why these people know this. Okay, all right. So yeah, there are three elements to a crime story. So they look for means, which is the person's ability to do something, like ability to do it. Can they do it? Motive, the person's reason for doing something. And opportunity, the person's chance to carry out the act of doing something. So I have a little story about a little girl that was in first grade. I don't know, her name was Edie. And yeah. And, I thought about sharing this story, and I thought, well, I'll be terribly embarrassed because I feel bad about it. But I'm going to share it because I think it helps with explaining the crime scene. So when I was in first grade, I was chewing gum out in the playground because it was recess time. We could chew gum outside, but you couldn't chew gum when you were inside. So I had some gum, and we were walking our way back in, and I realized that I had gum in my mouth, and I needed to get rid of it. And so I stuck it in the hair of the girl in front of me. I did. So let's examine this crime. So I had the means, right? I physically had gum in my mouth, and I had an arm and a hand, and opportunity was there because she was right in front of me. And my motive was to get rid of the gum, and I thought it would be funny. That was part of it too. I didn't realize how I never had gum in my hair before. I didn't realize what a terrible thing it was when I put the gum in her hair, because the whole, next hour was spent trying to get the gum out of her hair, and she was crying, and I felt terrible. So it was a lesson for me. I learned something from that. Everything that's funny isn't always good to do. But, so that was the crime. And I thought, well, I had the means, I had the opportunity, and I had the motive. But how often do we have the means, opportunity, and motive to do really good things? I mean, there's so many more opportunities when you think about it. They are abounding and abundant opportunities to do great things from a place of heart, a place of love. So our motive is, our means is our mind, our heart, and our body. Our motive is love, or the desire to bring joy or comfort to another person. Our opportunity, our chance to do it, abound every day. Every day gives us the opportunity to do something from a loving, caring, giving motive. In fact, it's really our true nature to do that. So I encourage you to think about your motives. Think about your motives. What's impelling you? What's pushing you forward to do something? Find all the beautiful ways that you can find opportunities to do them through the means of you. And if you ever get gum stuck in your hair, ice it. It'll break up, it'll come out eventually. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much, Edie, for those words of wisdom, for true confessions, true crime. That really helped us all learn about a little bit about what motivates us for good, because it's all good. Now, thank you so very much. Next, we're going to be moving into guided meditation. And so today, this will be led by the practitioner of the day, Dr. Cheryl Macklin. And Cheryl is like triple duty today. She did the meditation before service. She led us in prayer treatment before getting us all together. She's coming up and doing guided meditation, and then she's also going to share the opening spiritual mind treatment. And you will notice right away that Dr. Cheryl really takes her love of Philadelphia sports to heart. And so all of her green clothing was not in the laundry. So she's going to come up and lead us coming up next. So Dr. Cheryl, please.
Well, it's not my fault that the Eagles changed from the green to this, you know. What can I say? Edie, you're a tough act to follow. But I found it interesting that we're all in Eagleville. I think that the entire tri-state area is Eagleville these days. So, as we gather for meditation, I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes and just breathe gently and easily. And settle in your chair. Feel yourself present in this moment, right here and right now. Anything else going on, you can kind of just put it to the side and be right here. As you breathe, breathe into your body. Feel the breath move all the way down from your head to your toes. That breath is peace. That breath is light. That breath is love. As you settle even more deeply into this moment, now breathe into your heart. What we think of as the seat of love. Feel the love that you radiate out everywhere you go, and the love that you receive. And the invitation from the divine to open our heart wider and wider breathe in and connect with the divine presence. That presence that is always there, expressing as you. And that divine presence expresses as everything and everyone around you. As you connect with the divine presence, know that the divine presence is peace, is love, faith and courage, abundance, joy. All of that is always with you, always expressing as you. And the divine invitation is to connect with that presence in any moment, in every moment. So take a few minutes in silence and spend time with the divine presence within. Know that the divine presence is always there for you to connect to in every moment. Remembering the love and the presence and how it feels to be in your body in the moment. Bring yourself gently back to the room, to this celebration. And if you're ready, open your eyes.
Be the peace you want to see. Share your peace with everyone you meet. Let it begin. Let it begin. Let it begin with you. Be the joy you want to see. And share your joy with everyone you meet. Let it begin. Let it begin. Let it begin with you. And be the love you want to see. And share your love with everyone you meet. Let it begin. Let it begin. Let it begin with you. Be the peace. Be the joy. Be the love. Let it begin.
Well, our music today so far has told us that we matter and that all that we need comes to us and that we are the peace. I mean, that sounds like a treatment to me, but I am going to share a reading from Creative Success by Ernest Holmes, because today is about being limitless. And it's from pages 71 to 73, but don't panic, I'm not reading all of it. Okay. Nothing in the universe ever stops. Everything is built on a boundless basis, drawn from a limitless source, come forth from an infinite sea of unmanifest life. We speak forth into this life and draw back from it all that we first think into it. Life is always limitless, and the only thing that limits us is our inability to conceive mentally, and we should draw more and more from that limitless source. There is no reason why a man who is already doing well should not be able to mentally conceive of a still better condition. What if we are active? There is always a greater activity possible. We can still see a little beyond what has come before. This is just what we should do, see, even though it be but a little beyond our former thought. If we always practice this, we will find that every year we shall be growing, every month we shall be advancing, and as time goes on, we shall become really great. As there is no stopping in that power which is infinite, as the limitless is without bounds, so we should keep on trying to see more and more greater possibilities. And so, I state this treatment in the first person and invite you to take it for yourselves. There is one, and that one is God, and that God is limitless, infinite, the creative source, the creator of all. And God is the source of the divine creative urge, which is within each and every one of us. And I feel that urge to express more and more of the God qualities that are who I am. More of the love, and that, more of the light, more of the joy, more of the faith. And so I come here with this glorious spiritual community, and I feel the love. And as I listen to the music and listen to the speakers, I see more and more possibility. I feel more and more love. And so I know that this entire celebration is an expression of the limitless, glorious magnificence of the one and only Creator. And so I know that this service is already complete in the mind of God. And I give great thanks for that. Give great thanks to be able to be here sharing this growing, this limitlessness, this celebration. And so with joyful acceptance and positive expectancy, I release my word into the law, knowing that it is acted upon and demonstrated. I let it be so, and so it is.
So it is.
So very much, Cheryl. That was beautiful. Both the meditation, the treatments, the readings gave us a lot to think about. Okay, we got it. All right. Get that. Okay. So now it is my pleasure to have you join with me as we read our affirmation of the day. So for those of you who are here, we received these wonderful little cards, and I believe, yep, we've got it right there on the screen for all of you watching out there in our virtual. So if you would join with me and say, I honor the divine life within me as it motivates me to express with infinite possibilities today and every day. Okay. Now, I'm also now pleased to be able to introduce to you our guest speaker, Dr. Hazel Spears. So I'm going to read a little bit about her, and her talk title today is Mindset and Motivation, the link between psychology and metaphysics. So we've got a lot to learn here. Now, Dr. Hazel Spears is a licensed practitioner of religious science who earnestly began her spiritual pursuits as a Nichiren Shoshu Buddhist in Los Angeles in the early 1980s, seeking a life beyond that which meets the eye. A chance, yet destined, conversation led her to Founders Church of Religious Science and the spiritual teaching that resonated through every part of her being. Dr. Spears teaches psychology at Cheney University, an historically black university near Granite Run, Pennsylvania. There, she is delighted to share the numerous and natural connections between our psychological and spiritual lives in discussions of learned helplessness, self-fulfilling prophecy, self-handicapping, fixed versus growth mindsets, and numerous other theories that affirm the energy-based universe in which we exist. She is a member of the Center of Peace, a sister CSL organization in Philadelphia, where she is one of the youth teachers, practices and shares her grandmother's German baking, and joyfully pursues her spiritual growth among other evolved and living, loving beings. So I present to you and welcome Dr. Hazel Spears.
So much, Joe. I really appreciate that. And
You're a sweet girl. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. I feel very welcome. It's my second visit here, and I'm so glad to be back here among kindred spirits, and especially in the home of Reverend Maxine and Rev Mike, who, and one of the motivational mottos that I always use, maybe you do too, there's nothing in this universe that can't be turned into something good. So while they must be away, this is my opportunity to be here with you. And that's pretty good from my point of view. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming out today. Yes, I teach at a historically black college, Cheney University. And I've been there for 18 years now. Oh, by the way, Edie, good to see you again. Love the wee wisdom. May have to steal that segment for our youth church. Thank you. Yes. Yes, this is Black History Month. And we celebrate it. And on our website at Cheney University, we say we are Black history, and indeed we are. And of course, Black history is American history. An integral part, along with indigenous history, the history of immigration, all this coming together inclusively. This is what makes America great. We learn from each other, we share with each other, we fight with each other, and in that fight, that challenge, we grow with each other, we evolve. And so, yeah, it's all good. So trying to suppress it, to hold it down, to keep it back, to hide our faces, totally unnecessary. Open your eyes and see the light, because this is what we are all about. These truths that echo throughout the ages, throughout the annals of history, that all people are created equal. I updated that, you might have noticed that. All people are created equal. This is true, and this will indeed help us reach our full potential as a country, as a nation, as a leader. And so as we honor that in all people, we will become the nation that we are striving to be, not by hiding our head in the sand or turning away from our past history, because we all have a checkered history, individually and as groups of people. Nobody's been all good, and nobody's been all bad. So come on, let's go ahead and say I'm sorry and keep it moving. So, I am a psychology professor, and what I really particularly love about being a psychology professor, because psychology came from philosophy, and of course what we practice here is a philosophy. And so we just put some science, which is a methodology. We do research. We say, okay, we believe this is true. You know, birds of a feather flock together, but is that really true? Do opposites attract? Or we go out and do research to find out what is true and what is less true, or you know, has different circumstances in which it becomes true. So psychology is a science, but I am so happy to say that there's so much of psychology that I have found and find every day that supports, the science supports the metaphysics. And I'm going to share a few of those elements that I'm particularly attracted to with you here today. We always start out at the center of peace with the principles. And so I'd like to start out with a few of those, about 4 of them. And the first principle is number 5, also known as personal freedom. We believe the ultimate goal of life is to be complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. Principle number 8, universal law. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by and embedded in this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. This is how we practice. We know that thoughts are things. Principle number 11, which is self-determination. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we are individualized expression of Great Spirit. And we understand that the life of all is God. A friend of mine at the Center of Peace, Jane Cloherty, she was talking about, when she heard the title of my talk, she says, psychology usually tries to explain how the world affects human beings and how the environment makes us what we are. And indeed, I am a social psychologist. I study how the thoughts and behaviors and feelings, how all those are affected by the world around us. So, you know, we get the energy from the world and we put it through our system and then we radiate it back out. The world does affect us. But Jane pointed out to me that I am turning this paradigm on its head by explaining how we humans create the world we experience. And that's, I found quite insightful and quite true. And we know it. We co-create. We create the world we experience in Science of Mind. We know this. So let me introduce you to the first scientific principle, well studied, that I'm going to talk about. And let me introduce it by this old saying, maybe you've heard of it. You are your own worst enemy. Familiar? Yeah. Some people, before a job interview, say, or a big test, they stay out and party all night. Maybe we don't do that anymore, but you might have done that in the past. Some get high, drink too much, they jeopardize their jobs, their relationships, their education. That's particularly for my students. Like, what happened to you? I didn't get to bed till 5 o'clock last night, you know? Some of us never prepare enough. We never practice enough, and some of us never get enough sleep. Sometimes because it's out of it's nothing out of our control. Some of us get hurt, we get ill, and everybody then hears about the illness or the hurt forever. And some people, could have been me, could have been you, choose extremely difficult or unattainable goals. You ever meet people like that? Like, I'm gonna get rich by winning the lottery. Or I am always falling in love with people who are already married. Or trying to lose 30 pounds in 1 month. We do these things to ourselves. And there's a name for that in psychology. It's called self-handicapping. And this is when you put a barrier or some obstacle in front of you in your path of success. You actually make it almost impossible for you to succeed. Why? Why do we do this? Well, we do it to protect ourselves from what failure means. We can blame our failure on the handicap, you know, and not ourselves. I didn't fail, it was because of this thing here. I stayed up all night. And it looks like it's win-win on its face. Because if you succeed despite the handicap, well, kudos to you, you know? You did it in spite of all that. And if you fail, well, anybody in this circumstance would have failed too. So it's a really built-in, wonderful excuse. Unfortunately, it does reduce your chances for success. And if you do this all the time, it can be a real problem in your life. It can lead to a chronic pattern of bad habits and bad stories to cover up your bad habits. It can lead to alcoholism, it can lead to drug abuse, or to never finishing those things that you start, never following through on things. So self-handicapping is what we do. You've probably recognized yourself in some of those activities in the past, or maybe even in the present, some of them, giving yourself excuses for ahead of time for why you can't succeed. So let's go back to the fountain. Let's go back to the fountain of truth, some spiritual truths. And I want to go way, way back to some of the roots of science of mind and reference Henry David Thoreau and one thing that he said, and an antidote to self-handicapping. Thoreau says, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. And as you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will be simpler too." So that's some truth from Henry David Thoreau, and something that we can walk on and grow with. Another psychological principle that I've fallen in love with, and I might characterize it by saying this. Maybe you've heard this. If it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. You got some friends like that? Some, sad sacks, some poor individuals that are always born under a bad sign, whatever it might be, right? In psychology, we call this learned helplessness. You've learned to be helpful because we are learning creatures. That's what we came here for, to learn and grow. So we're learning all the time. And this is a state of mind in which you think there isn't any way to succeed. Even if you get the opportunity later down the line to take charge and control the situation, you won't do it because you've learned from life experiences that there's no point. You've become exhausted psychologically, spiritually, from past stressful and traumatic experiences. Life has taught you to be helpless. And this was uncovered by experiments in the 1970, I can't remember anymore. Too much knowledge, it's crowding itself. It's either the 70s or the 80s, but it's way back when Marty Seligman of the University of Pennsylvania, famous psychologist, he wrote Learned Optimism, he wrote The Optimistic Child, he's wonderful. It's all about he created positive psychology where we focus on the good instead of the bad, the pathology in psychology, so he's quite a revolutionary individual. But he had an experiment. He discovered it with, I forgot what else they were looking for, but they used dogs, and they put them in the Skinner box. We're going to put you in this box, and we're going to do something to you. This box had two sides and a barrier in between, but under both sides were electrical grids. So they put the dog in the one side, and they turned on the electrical grid. Mild shock, not terrible, not death-inducing or anything, but just unpleasant. And so the dog felt this and then jumped over the barrier to the other side, which was not electrified. Whew, very good. Okay, very good. But if then comes part two, that gets turned on too, the electrical grid. So the dog jumps back to the other side, and that's turned on. And the dog, yes, we're trying to cut down on animal experimentation, but they've taught us so much, and well, hopefully, we also do what we need to do to calm them down afterwards. But it didn't work in this case. So the dog is jumping back and forth between the grids, and then that particular trial is over. So the next day, they start up again, and they bring the dog to the box and put the dog in the box and turn on the electrical grid and expect the dog to jump to the other side to escape. But the dog doesn't. Dog lays down, looking depressed. We don't know if the dog is depressed, but we know the dog doesn't even try to escape, even though he could escape to the other side where it's not electrified. But the dog, in a few trials, has learned there's no point to try to get away from this. I'll just give up. And that's what the dog did, the animal equivalent of depression, and just gave up. And so Seligman continued his journey understanding how life itself can defeat you if you don't have intervention, if you don't have, a mindset that is going to take you out of it, and became the guru of optimism. But this particular issue, this learned helplessness, shows up all the time. For instance, I might give somebody a task, a short task. Last summer, I was teaching the summer bridge for summer students that want to go to college and need a little bit more preparation. And so I told them, we're going to have a treasure hunt. They had passed some quizzes and they earned the right to go and do a treasure hunt, which is in a building like, not quite like this, but lots of hallways, lots of nooks and crannies, not quite this big. But anyway, I said, there's 3x5 cards hidden with your prizes. So you can go out there on this treasure hunt and go get a bag of chips, some soda, maybe a $5 bill, different things like that, little interesting prizes that students like to get. And all they had to do is find the cards. And I had 20 kids in this class, and I had about 35 prizes out there. So I said, nobody gets more than 2. All right, so go out there, see what you can find. And I had hidden them behind things, maybe under that platform right there, maybe under a chair, maybe, a little bit behind something that was obvious, behind a podium or something. And so the 20 kids went out there, and they had like 15, 20 minutes to do this. And within about 5 minutes, one came back and said, I found 6 of these. And you told us we can only have 2, so I said, great, so you're going to give the 4 extra ones away? He says, yeah, I'm happy to give them away. I said, you're really good at this. He says, I don't know. He said, I don't know, it was easy. And then 5 or 10 minutes later, other people came back and said, I can't find anything. I can't find anything. Same environment, same, placement of stuff. And in fact, one came back and there was a big sign next to me that I put, one of those COVID, here's a stand for, washing your hands, the hand sanitizer, and I had put one of those little things behind it. And so I put my hand on it, and I said, you can't find anything. She says, I can't find anything anywhere. I said, well, if it was a snake, it would have bit you. And she said, what do you mean by that? I'm saying, it's kind of close enough so it would bite you. She says, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I said, it's close enough. There were 2 girls standing there. Neither one of them got it. So I flipped it around, and there was the little 3x5 with the prize on it. Oh. And I hope that was a lesson for her, because she was a young lady who had very little faith in herself or life or something. She just didn't understand that seek and ye shall find, ask and it is given. She didn't understand some of those basic principles of life. And so she had kind of foreclosed on herself, given up before she really got started. Whereas other kids were coming back, well, I got 5, I got 4, and others were saying, I couldn't find anything. But that's an example of learned helplessness. And it shows up in people who try to give up smoking, or try to lose weight, or try to leave domestic violence situations. And those are challenging situations, hard situations. But if learned helplessness has set in, that individual stops trying. There's a total lack of motivation. They even refuse to accept help if you offer it, even from a friend or a professional. No, there's no point. And they offer lots of reasons why something won't work. It's not the right time. Oh, I got so much other stuff going on. Lots of excuses. So this state of helplessness is particularly insidious because it does lead to feelings of worthlessness and powerlessness. So let's go back to the fountain. Let's go back to a spiritual quote. And this one is from the Science of Mind textbook on page 450, from Ernest Holmes. But to those who believe only in failure, the law comes in corresponding measure, measuring back to them the logical outcome of their beliefs. The habitual failure bears across the threshold of their thought an image of their inability to attain. The old law says that what little one has shall be withdrawn until one has learned the lesson of life and action. Indeed. Let's move on to a more promising outlook. How about this one? Let me grab a sip of water first before I give this one to you. Know it and love it. If you can conceive it, you can. If you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. Self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm sure you've heard of that as well. This is when someone predicts or expects something to happen, and then what they predict comes true. And you can prophesize for yourself, I know this is going to happen to me, or you can prophesize for others. I know this is going to happen to you, Sarah. And if I really believe it, and there's things that I'm going to do that are going to let you pick that up and run with it. How it was discovered. Rosenthal and Jacobson in 1968. They told teachers at the beginning of the year that some of their students were very, very bright, and they gave them their names. What the teachers did not know that these names were picked out of a hat. They were shuffled up, and they said, okie dokie, you're going to be the one, you're going to be the one, Sarah's going to be the one, and Paxton's going to be the one, and Joe's going to be the one. But they were random. They were no brighter or different than anybody else. They had supposedly given them a little test beforehand. So these teachers believed these researchers when they came in and told them this. Lo and behold, at the end of the semester, without telling anything to the students, somehow those particular students that were identified by name were at the top of the class, where the A students were the bright ones, and the rest were, in the background. And they've tried this in many different environments. Self-fulfilling prophecies, teachers that go ahead and, remember groups, learning groups, and you'd have the tigers, and then you'd have the bluebirds, and then you'd have the clowns. And guess what? You'd have the tigers and the bluebirds and the clowns. So labeling is very, very important here. So this is how it was discovered, and much research has been done on this. But other students, other things in everyday life, you've experienced this. A student thinks she's going to fail, so she doesn't even bother to study, and quite naturally she fails. You think there's no jobs out there, so you slow down or even stop your job search, and you end up with no job. We do this to ourselves all the time, and there was a classic during the Great Depression, you know it. Somebody tells you, the bank is going to fail, the bank is going to fail. Oh my God, I better go get my money. And the bank, of course, fails. So it happens all the time in life. And some other things that we've researched, we know it happens in pain. If you expect something to be a painful experience in the doctor's office with a procedure or something, you are much more likely to feel pain, even if the stimulus is not very painful at all. Test it out on other people. No, everybody says it's not painful, but you've been told this could be painful, and all of a sudden it hurts you. Stereotypes. You can see how this might work with stereotypes, this idea of self-fulfilling prophecy. If we're told what population groups are lazy, are smart, are industrious, are good at math, for instance, like guys are good at math, girls are not good at math, good at sports, black folks are good at sports, but then again, they're not so good at this or math or these other things. So stereotypes are all about self-fulfilling prophecy, which is why they are so insidious and need to be examined, these judgments. Parents also need to watch out the names they call their kids. You little monster. Because they often try to live up to them. Oh, I was called a gypsy when I was a wild child, when I was a kid. And wow, maybe that has something to do with my wandering around and being kind of like Edie. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be fun, But before you get caught up on predictions, and we can, because they are what we speak into the universe, let me go ahead and give us some relief from another spiritual quote. This time from A Course in Miracles. It's lesson 132, paragraph 5. Change but your mind on what you want to see, and all the world must change accordingly. Ideas leave not their source. What you plant will sprout. So for my last spiritual and psychological paradigm, let's talk about this. It's the fixed versus the growth mindset. Perhaps you've heard of it. Carol Dweck, a brilliant researcher out of Stanford, came up with this. But a friend of mine, Dr. Carolyn Hall, who was at Cheney last year, she's left and gone to greener pastures. You'll probably be hearing her. But the quote comes from her, and it's a play on words of a quote that you already know about. This way, I'm going to say it. You've heard of fake it till you make it? It needs a little improvement. How about faith it until you make it? All right, that's a goodie, huh? People with a fixed mindset think that what you've got, your talents, your skills, abilities, you were born with. It's hardwired. You got it or you don't got it. There it is. In fact, there's a saying, used to be a big saying before many more women got into the field. They would say, physicists are born, not made. So you either got it or you don't. So why bother? Education, training, parents, having a daddy that's a physicist, that shouldn't matter, But you were born into this world with what you're going to walk through the world with. On the other hand, people with the growth mindset see intelligence, see abilities, see skills as something you can learn, something you can acquire, something that evolves in your lifetime. And it's learnable, and you can improve it through your mindset and effort. And you can often tell what your mindset is by listening to your own self-talk. What are you telling yourself about yourself? A story is told by Dr. Dweck about a mother that was listening to her 6-year-old daughter, teach herself how to do one-handed cartwheels. She was listening to her little girl. Okay, now if I start further back and I run a little bit faster, and then right before I get there, I'm going to put my hand out, and then I'm going to do it. And she did it. She talked to herself again and again until, of course, at the end of the session, she could do it. She talked herself into it. And we see this with kids as they're doing their math tests or their reading tests. You've got those that have got this positive self-talk. Okay, I've seen this word before. I've done this math problem before. I've seen something like it. I know I can do this. I know I can do it. Just like the little engine that could. That's what a growth mindset is all about. Because if you have a fixed mindset, you're going to have some problems. Because the fixed mindset leads you to wanting to look smart, okay? Preserve your self-image. If somebody ever told you were smart, okay, you're stuck in aspic and crystal. Don't let me do something that's going to make me look foolish or dumb. So what do? Unfortunately, you avoid challenges. You give up easily. You see effort as pointless. You ignore useful feedback because you've got this tunnel vision thing going on, and very sadly, you see other people's success as a threat to you. So you're in this protective, barrier here and not evolving. But the growth mindset, on the other hand, leads to completely different type of motivation. It leads you to want to learn, to grow. You understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but part of success, and you keep it moving. You embrace challenges. You persist despite the obstacles. You see effort as the path to mastery. You learn from criticism, and you are inspired by the success of others. Just like that Roger Bannister in the 4-Minute Mile. Other people saw it, and they said, you did it? A human being did it? I can do that. And that leads me to my last spiritual quote here. Ernest Holmes has something to say about this. From the Science of Mind textbook, page 283. Faith is a mental attitude which is so convinced of its own idea, which so completely accepts it, that any contradiction is unthinkable and impossible. Faith is a mental assertion elevated to the plane of realization. And all these theories do have a common denominator. Yes, you and what you believe about yourself, as we know. Of course, you can make the spiritual connection. Jesus, from Matthew 8:13, as you believe, so it will be done unto you. And I leave you with this. Always believe something wonderful is about to happen, and then watch it occur. I thank you for your time and for allowing me to share my thoughts with you. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so very much. You've given us so much to think about and ruminate, as they say. And I love that we can go back and listen to you again, because we are recording this and we can just tap into it again. So we'll always have that opportunity, and I thank you so much for all of your beautiful remarks. Thank you, Doctor. All right. Now, let me check my list. Okay. It's a long list. Okay, here we go. We're coming down toward the end, And so now it is our opportunity to share our abundance with this center. So there are many ways to do that. I think they'll be maybe putting some of those up on the screen. You can check our website and find the ways that you can share with GPCSL. For those of us who are here, one thing that I like to do is hold my gift, my contribution to my heart, and I repeat our wonderful prosperity statement. So if you would be so kind as to repeat that with me, and then we'll move along. So, I choose to celebrate prosperity. Divine love blesses my gift. It is my acceptance of God as the source of my abundant supply. With joy and gratitude, I share my abundance with this center. In doing so, I am one with the law of circulation. My tithe goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. And it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and I am prospered, and so it is. Thank you.
Hey, be the change that you want to see. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones. We are the ones. I've been feeling like I can't make a difference. I've been feeling like there ain't no use. Feeling tired and a little unconscious, coming up with every kind of excuse, till I realized it's not all up to me. When we join together, we shape our destiny to see a world where we are living as one. It can be, it shall be, it will be done. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones. We are, yes, we are the ones. We are. No one else gonna make the changes. No savior gonna drop from the sky. Nothing left to do but wake up, 'cause it's really up to you and I to take it one step at a time. Stand together with your hand in mine. Then we will see the world that we've been dreaming about. We need it now, the time is now, there is no doubt. We are the ones that we've been waiting for.
My name is Suzanne Smithers, and I am very honored to be a member of your board of trustees. Casey's running up here. A little taller. Dr. Hazel Spears, that was an amazing and motivational lesson. And there's so many pieces to take home with us, but I truly love faith it till you make it. And that is going to be my theme for the week. And thank you so much. That was amazing and beautiful. Well, your board is very excited and actively working on more in-person celebrations, guest speakers, live music, labyrinth walks, movie nights, potlucks, followed by brunch and dinner out and celebrations in the park, volleyball, so many good things, care groups, life-changing classes, GPCSL youth gatherings, and welcoming new members and growing. Woo! Let's see. All right, so that's really good stuff coming up, and I hope we're experiencing it now. It's not in the future, it's happening today, right at this very moment. So if you'd like to enhance your spiritual connection to a higher power, well, that was Reverend Mike's class for a foundation class has been canceled, and he is going to be doing a class on Emerson that will be coming up soon. The class was canceled due to not enough membership, so we'll be looking forward to the Emerson class. I will definitely look forward to that. All right, so we're going to move on to the next one, and then Cheryl Macklin is leading a 7-week Good Grief support group in person, starting on Wednesday, March 15th from 7 to 8:30 in Paoli, Pennsylvania. This is a 7-week session exploring grief as a gateway to transformation. Life is a continuous series of beginnings and endings. Grief is a normal response to loss, and the grief process can be a path to powerful transformation. It is important to honor and fully embrace both endings and new beginnings. This group is open to anyone who would like to share a healing experience with others in relation to losses he or she has experienced, and you can sign up by going to www.cslphilly.org or click on the link on the pop-up screen on the home page. That's it for today. Wow. That was short and sweet. Yay. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week live here again.
Woohoo, I'm back. So thank you, Suzanne, for all those wonderful announcements. And of course, now we need to think about what month it is. It's February. And the year is just flying right by. But for February, we need to celebrate. And we're celebrating the birthdays of all of those who are born this month. So I don't know if I have anybody here in person who is celebrating a birthday this month. If you are, please stand. And woohoo! Oh, excellent, excellent. And so for those here and for those tuning in, wherever you may be, we'd like to sing to you.
Hit it, Maestro. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, and now we have our closing song coming up.
We're going to the land of milk and honey. money. Well, you don't need no money. Talking about the journey deep inside. With infinite spirit as a guide. Well, your imagination can run free. And you can realize all your dreams. We're talking about the journey deep inside. With infinite spirit as a guide. Everything you want is already there. Whatever you desire, it will appear. Oh yeah, yeah. We'll be living in heaven here on earth. Experience life for all it's worth. We're talking about the journey deep inside. With infinite spirit as a guide. But what you believe you can achieve, let your wild horses run free. We're talking about the journey deep inside. With infinite spirit as a guide. Everything you want is already there. Whatever you desire, it will appear. Oh yeah, yeah. We're going to the land of you don't need no money. Infinite spirit. Your imagination can run free, and you can realize all your dreams. Talking about the journey. Let the spirit be your guide. 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 I'm talking about the inward journey. 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 We're living in heaven here on earth. They're talking about the journey. They're talking about the journey. And what you believe you can achieve. Talking about the journey deep inside. Talking about the journey. Talking about the journey. Yeah. You don't need no money. Talking about the land of milk and honey. Everything you want is already there. We've been living in heaven here on earth. Yes, we will. Thank you.
And thank you, one and all. Thank you, Eddie Watkins Jr. And we'll have Dr. Spears step up with us again. Thank you, sweet girl.
Lots of love. Got a whole lot of love here, and that's what's so wonderful. Join with me together as we close our eyes and go within and give thanks for this wonderful teaching, for this wonderful community of kindred spirits who are motivated to continue to learn, to grow, to give, to love. So as we go forth on the highways and byways of our life this week, we know that we are led by love, by light, by wisdom, by curiosity, and of course by faith. And this is how we face our challenges, with faith, for we know that all things are possible through the set of our mind, through the motivation that we give ourselves, for we are individualized expression of glorious source. So let us indeed join together and give thanks, knowing that in this wonderful thing called life, we never walk alone. So we are truly blessed. And so it is. Be well. Thank you. Thank you, Rev Maxine, Rev Mike. We look forward to seeing you again real soon. Ciao, ciao.